Welcome to the Broken Sun. Welcome back, everyone, to Specters of a Broken Sun. This is the second season of the Stories of a Broken Sun anthology actual play tabletop role-playing game podcast in our original setting. I want to start off by acknowledging that this podcast is produced on the unceded territory of the Katzie, Kwikwetlem, Stalo, Kwantlen, Stz'uminus, and Musqueam people in the treaty land of the Tsawwassen First Nation. You can continue to support Indigenous land protectors by visiting unistoten.camp. Links in the description of the episode. Even in the midst of this pandemic, the RCMP and certain corporations are continuing to invade land to work on pipelines, while everybody is forbidden from gathering to protest them. So that's still happening. Capitalism, hell of a drug. Speaking of hell, we left our characters in a bit of a sticky situation after their downtime because they had been ordered to return to the habitat at once, at least the Sunbreakers had, after a productive mission to get a wave out and establish a communication link between the habitat and the sun, at least one that they have now patched through the Express, the 88. And the people who are playing those characters who are facing this quantum conundrum are joining me today, so I will go around and introduce everybody in the order in which I see their webcams. So first up, we have Keekers.
Hi, everyone. It's me, Keekers, the bearer of the sickness, apparently, at this point in time. I am the Schrodinger's cat of sickness. I may or may not have COVID at this point we are recording.
Here's hoping it's may not.
Yeah. So anyway, I am playing Keva Jarma, she, her, and CD, they, them.
And you're she, her as well, right?
Yes, I am she, her. Sorry. Sick brain.
That's no problem. And we can find you at Be a Space Cat, as I recall.
Yes. I just had one right here next to me, kneading the mattress that I am sitting on and purring and yelling at me for her Scooby snacks.
Speaking of snacks, we're also joined by Good Sir Blood.
Hi, everyone. It's me, Mike Blood. You can find me on Twitter at Good Sir Blood. My pronouns are they, them, and you can find me on Twitter. I said at Good Sir Blood already.
You did that one already.
You should find me
there.
Tell
us about your characters.
I play, for the purposes of this podcast, the stoic and extremely handsome Emran Pak, as well as the incredibly frightened and not at all stoic Slip.
Studying contrasts. We are also joined today by Trudy.
Hi, I'm Trudy. My pronouns are they, them, and I play Zora, the sword. Her pronouns are she, her.
Excellent. And speaking of she, her, we've also got with us Velvet.
Oh, hello. My name is Velvet, the she-fae. You can find me on the interwebs at OG Brown Sugar. And in this podcast, I play Maeve, the mother of monsters, she, her, and Augustus, who's just terrible, but they are they, them.
Sorry, I didn't notice you changed your pronouns there, Velvet.
Oh, it's okay. Very new.
My whole segue there just completely didn't work. All right, anyway, we'll move on.
Live and learn.
Yes. Okay, so we have
Live and Learn. Live and Learn is a Sonic song.
How dare you bring it back? Please, you must stop.
A childhood full of Sonic heroes just drilled it into my head.
Yeah. Got to stop with the Sonic, something that Sonic can never do. Now then, updates on things going on around the world. Your characters will be plugged in, of course, to various news feeds. You're looking at the huge clock page at the moment in Roll20. So you can see that there have been some clocks that have completed as of your last downtime, because your downtime is also everyone else's downtime. The world marches on as you do. So let's take a look at who's done what. The Surface Liberation Front completed something. Let's see what they did. Ah, yes, the Surface Liberation Front, with your help, successfully contacted the Church of Gov. Not very exciting. You did a mission for them that finished off that clock, but all the same. Let's see, anything else completed there? The junkyard. What did the junkyard do?
Something good and helpful.
Well, it is good and helpful. You don't know what it is. All right, good. It's something they've been working on for a while.
Making slip a real boy.
Yeah, and you can always. I'll remind you, you can always investigate what these clocks are if you want.
We finally.
Why would I do that?
I don't think anyone has ever investigated one of these clocks.
No.
I don't want lore. I have my own. I got my own stuff going on.
Yeah,
The
you
Sun
do.
folk are very self-centered.
The Vile Lance has also completed a task. Yeah, the Vile Lance went to war.
Oh.
Yeah, they've been. I don't know if. Well, you haven't been noticing, but in the background, the Vile Lance has been having an ongoing battle, series of conflicts with Coleraine, the private military corporation.
I knew that.
Good for them.
Yeah, their latest clock was basically their war against the Coleraine private military contractors, and they have devastated them to such an extent that Coleraine has gone down a tier from 2 to 1.
I'm taking credit for that.
Yeah, the Vile Lance has been doing very well, especially since they stole all those jetpacks from the Hornets,
Hee hee.
right, from Hornet Squad. Okay, so that's been going on. You'd be hearing about that in the news about Coleraine having sustained heavy losses and devastation to their financial prospects and so on and so forth.
In CD's defense, CD just had another child, so they've been very busy and wrapped up in that.
Oh, I know. The Resistance, as we've discovered, not great people. We were hoping for so much more from them. But the Resistance completed one of their clocks, and you will be seeing something about that today because it affects you directly.
Oh no.
The Solar Workers
Okay.
Union, on the other hand, has successfully managed to get a lawsuit going against LAD, Layer Up Automated Design. They are suing them for basically missing their delivery of that next-gen chassis that you had a bit of a hand in delaying the delivery of. So they are suing for damages to basically distribution workers and everybody all the way along the supply line who was impacted by the delay of that chassis. So they've managed to actually get that into the super corrupt solar courts. Big win there.
I'm sure it'll be a completely fair and equal legal proceeding.
Oh, for sure. Section Blue. Yeah, they did something.
They're not allowed to do anything, Matt.
But they did a thing.
No, but
They've been
not
working
allowed.
on this chain of events for 3 clocks now, and they have finally completed the ultimate level of their quest here.
Find a slip and kill them.
Did they build RoboCop or something?
Yeah, what the heck?
They already have RoboCop.
They literally
But
have robots.
bigger.
They are
RoboCop.
literally all RoboCop. Yes, they've completed a big project. There are rumblings about it.
What are those rumblings, Matt? Just out of curiosity.
The rumblings that you would hear are that that Section Blue has successfully investigated a new technology that will allow them to leap forward by many light years in the realms of law enforcement and mass surveillance.
So they researched Big Brother or Bigger Brother,
Bigger
You
brother.
can-
Biggest brother.
Biggest Brother.
You can always find out. Okay, so that's what Section Blue is up to something. What else is exciting here? The Sodality of Preservation. No, they haven't completed that. Solar Freezing completed doing something else. Oh yeah, the spaceport's open.
Huh.
The old spaceport. They got it open.
For all these invaders to come into?
Yeah.
Wow. That's nice.
So yeah, there's lots of stuff flying around on the conspiracy nets on the deep web about how people who use their high-powered telescopes and observation gear have noticed that the old spaceport on the habitat is open somehow. Hasn't been for literally centuries. That's everything for now.
That's a whole bunch of organizations that I and Zora have no idea about.
Yep. So, I can imagine Zora just sitting there looking at the news. Ah, yes.
Ah, yes, I can read this language.
That is something. Okay. Your ship leveled up. We didn't get to that last time.
We're really good at that.
That's all.
Yeah. So the probable cause has leveled up. I've been keeping track of the experience. So you've leveled up, and there's 3 ticks towards the next one. So what did you decide what you wanted to do with that?
Yeah, why not just get home cooking? I think that's an excellent module where after every job, we all just get together. We have a big old digital meal. And, if there's any problems or someone overindulges, we just fight and all gain stress and don't do anything. It's a terrible module.
Food fight. I did suggest that we get a Satchel Folk themed holodeck.
Hear me out. What if we got weapon systems or actually upgraded our crew tier and stopped flailing at everything we fight?
Okay, if you want to be practical.
We could get weapon systems, or we can, I actually personally vote for 2 upgrade points, because if we upgrade our crew tier, we will lose some XP fighting. Well, I mean, everything's higher tier than us, so never mind.
Yeah, going up to tier 1 has a lot of advantages, and the disadvantage is if you happen to get into a battle with another tier 1 faction, you would not get bonus experience.
Which I'm a fiend for XP.
Yeah, you don't tend to tangle with the other tier 1s very often, though. You usually punch well above your weight here. But there are lots of good options here. You could use both your upgrade boxes to get a lucky charm, which boosts you. You get an extra starting gambit.
Oh, lucky charms! This sounds delicious.
McGill would love it.
For one box, you can get Smuggler's Rigging, which means that every time you have load, you just get 1 extra load free. Or actually, you get 1 item free. So it could be a 1 or 2 load thing for anything that you're carrying. You could invest in a new training upgrade. You could get a medical bay, which would help with your healing. An armory, which would mean that the weapons you bring, I believe, are fine weapons, which helps with tier differences. You could get better access to Terry's motorcycle bodies as a land rover. You could get an alien pet.
An Andromedan shows up.
Or you can tier up. That'll cost you 8 cred to do if you do that.
Oh, I think that obviously, I know that you play Terry, but CD would honestly say, "Oh, I don't really care. This is more Terry's realm." Though I would say that we don't really need a medical, but maybe we do need a medical bay.
Look over at Slip, who's violently convulsing. My screen hasn't turned on in 24 hours.
Augustus would step over Slip's body and just be like, we should tear up.
It's good to see you again, Augustus. You haven't been around here as much.
Hate you.
Well, now we know that Slip is conscious.
Yeah, let's tear up. Slip will...
Is that something you agree on?
Slip will shoot 2 cred out of their chest cavity.
I don't think it's literal physical cred that we're using here.
Regardless, Slip shoots 2 poker chips out of their chest.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we going to take the 4 cred from your crew pool in that case? Because you've got 4 cred that's free in the probable cause, then 2 in the vault, and as we know, that's a 2-for-1 thing to pull it out.
Yeah, I have 3 cred I can donate to the cause.
I will donate 1 of Slip's 2 if CD throws it all.
Okay, well, I'll wipe that out. Oh, you've still got 2 in the vault. What's going on here?
Yeah, I just got rid of my cred.
CD, spend money to make money.
CD cares not for money at this point. CD's gonna be dead anyway. That's what they think.
Okay, so in that case, where do I mark your tier? I guess it's not actually anywhere there. I'll just make a note here. Tier 1. How exciting.
What does that mean?
Well, when you tier up, a number of things happen.
I begin to weep.
Every time the whole crew advances, every PC gets stash equal to the crew quality plus 2 to represent profits generated by the crew. This shows that the jobs and stuff that you're doing in your downtime and your general, passive income has increased a great deal. So each one of you gets 3 stash. So you can add 3 to your stash.
Ooh, cash dollars.
I almost have enough stash to be a person.
That's exciting too.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that means that when you are acquiring assets and stuff like that, you can roll 1d6 instead of rolling 2d6 and taking the lowest. And tier quality stuff that you get will be higher. Tier equal to will be tier 1 instead of tier 0 now. So tons of advantages there.
We might get a car that we can drive.
For more than one mission.
But we'll suck at driving.
That's true.
Hey, I'm learning.
We need to hire a chauffeur.
Although one of these habitat kids that you've met is a pretty decent driver.
Yeah.
Where does stash go on the sheet?
That's a good question. I don't have a character, so I always have to look at this.
It's right underneath harm and underneath special. And so there's the cred that you can carry, and then there's stash right underneath that.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So I heard something about no one can drive. Keva can drive.
I just mentioned that while you were feeding the cat.
I meant the sun goobers that are usually on Terry.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like the goobers cannot drive. They're all very gay. They never learn to drive. It's the queerest thing in the world. They all live together in one apartment in like Brooklyn. They walk everywhere.
Yeah, Terry is an apartment in Brooklyn, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the dream.
So, you received a message at the end of last session from Denton Young. He did not identify himself as Governor Denton Young, which is unusual because in your experience dealing with him, he almost always makes sure to include his title when he is introducing himself. But this time he just said, "This is Denton Young." And he said he received your message. They were getting ready for the invasion, and they said they want you to come back. That was the whole message. That was it. What's the response like to this message from the Sunbreakers and Zora?
Well, it means we could stock up on some more cheese. And that's kind of important. But how would we get back to the sun? I don't know.
Where's Zonin?
Zonin and Matt are still in the field. They have not yet returned from the mission to recover Zora. I haven't had any communication with either of them.
And you weren't gonna tell us this? What? What's going like?
I thought I told you. Mandukai is she's got one of those bandages on her like chin that anime characters get when they're injured.
Well, she is literally an anime character, so
Yeah.
She has a sling on one of her arms. You know, all that stuff. Yeah, she may or may not need it. She doesn't look like she's been badly hurt, but
that is Mandukai Al-Armuti that we're talking about.
Yeah, she has clearly been in some kind of battle. Like her clothes are a little rumpled and singed, but still looking great.
No, I mean I didn't know that he was AFK. Like, would she actually know that term? Wait a second.
Do you mean AWOL?
AWOL.
CD's like, yeah, AFK.
I do not know their current condition. I'll continue attempting to find them. But at the moment, we do have to weigh the good of the many versus that of the few.
If we leave and they're still stuck on this station, I guess they're a rogue element.
I don't tend to take orders from Denton Young. But the question is, are we more useful to the habitat here or there?
I'm all for bringing the fight directly to these invaders. I think they sound organized.
I mean, have we done what we set out to do here? That's the real question. I mean, or part of the question.
I'm not ready to go home yet.
Maeve?
I think long term we can do more good, or at least put a bigger dent in the Solar Free State from up here. And also, if I go back down there, I'm not to be held accountable for whatever bodies of gov lackeys I leave in my wake.
I see. Zora, this man was your boss. I don't know if he still is. What do you think?
He's not my boss anymore. I don't know.
I see.
I think we need, maybe, at least, to try to get a direct line of communication and ask questions. I think we owe it at least to the people down there that matter, to make sure that they're not all being slaughtered.
That's a fair point, Keva.
I do want to hear what he has to say.
I see. It would be good to have faster communications than whatever this is at the moment. We can't go breaking into the Huateng Media Group broadcasting station every time we need to send a message.
Oh, I guess maybe that's our next plan of attack? Or not attack?
I think MP comes up. Are you all in the Express at the moment? Where are you hanging out?
I don't know where our place where we can talk is, like our meeting room. Maybe there's like another tent.
Yeah, there's some tents set up next to the Express. You can always talk on the bridge. The bridge is fairly large, or the body part of the ship.
Yeah, there's a lot of space in the hold.
Yeah, so we could be talking there.
Okay. MP trundles up the ramp and says, "Oh, good, you're all here."
Oh, hi.
So I've got some good news. Well, I say good news, but I should really say interesting news.
Yeah?
Zonin has infiltrated something.
I don't know. I haven't heard from him either.
Okay.
I hope we will soon. But speaking of infiltrations, though I guess this is maybe the opposite. Exfiltration? No, it's not an exfiltration. We're not getting it. Anyway, so I got a message from the Surface Liberation Front. And the message that I got from the Surface Liberation Front is that they got a message from the Armada outside.
Uh-huh.
Go on.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you all understood how exciting that is. Word from the outside, from outside of this habitat. Wow.
Yes. Other humans.
It's been my experience that everyone outside of our habitat is terrible, so I'm not excited to hear for more barbarians at my gates.
Yeah, are they more humans? Or what are they humans? Are they robots? Are they...
Well, that's a good question. The answer I have is that the person they heard from is a human, but that human is also working with aliens.
Huh?
Yeah. So, I guess that fleet is not just humans. It's maybe like humans and Centaurans, Andromedans. Who knows what else has been hanging around out there these past several hundred years.
Correct me if I'm wrong, MP, but if the Andromedans and Centaurans wasn't their technology a bit more advanced than ours? Shouldn't we be afraid?
Well, the Andromedans certainly had more advanced technology than we did. But, their home nebula had been completely burned away by the emergency. So it's difficult to say if they still maintain that level of... But you didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Oh, well, I guess maybe they don't teach you Andromedan history. Of course they don't. They don't even tell you aliens exist. But yeah, they're all... Yeah, there's a diaspora of the Andromedans because their place of birth, where they're from, was completely overtaken by the emergency, much like, as far as we know, was the Earth.
So are they mad at us? Or...
I don't know. Okay. Let me just get out the message. Okay, I'm just gonna. An MP plugs into a port in the Express and says, "Okay, play message." I made an adapter. So do we want to? Let's hear from this person who is within that fleet.
This is Special Agent Xavier Quag. I am in an interesting position to share information. I have been in contact with certain elements in the Hygiean fleet. We are not convinced of the Sun's interests. We do not trust these conquerors. I have a favor to ask the Liberation Front, or whomever you pass this on to. Members of the Andromedan diaspora have requested information. We want to know where members of the exile disappeared some centuries past. In this part of the belt, they entered and never returned. I ask that you investigate Olympian interior design. See what you can find out about these missing Andromedans. We are prepared to offer that much? All right. An equivalent to 8 of your solar credits. And we are prepared to withdraw Andromedan support from this Hygiean fleet. I will do all that I can to convince the Spot to turn around. Xavier Quag out.
Pretty cool, eh?
Well, that does it does decrease the amount of people coming after us.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a whole fleet, and we have MP glances around at the ship. We have one lightly armed bus, so any help I think on that end would be I think would be good. And hey, I know these guys, these folks. Maybe you're not the biggest fans of all of them, but I know some of them have been pretty personally impacted by Olympian interior design recently. So you can probably get them on board with this. They recently did this thing where they took over a bunch of people's living spaces and turned it into generators so they could keep the sim running for rich people.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to think of how that would work, how that would translate to back home to use as a touch point here.
You know,
It's like if, I don't know, we were arbitrarily programmed to die at a certain age.
yeah, kind of like that, yeah. Or if somebody kept shrinking the habitable zone of your home, thus reducing the number of people who could feasibly live there.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
You mentioned certain elements on the sun would be interested in helping.
Yeah, I mean, you can talk to them. This seems like a pretty important opportunity. If there are Andromedans on the sun, I mean, I've never heard of it. They have to be hiding them pretty well, but 8 cred, you can do a lot with that.
I don't really know what that means.
It's a lot.
Aren't Andromedans kind of gaseous? So couldn't you put them inside of a robot-looking body, and they could pretend that they were like you?
You could, yeah, you could do that if you could convince them to do that. I mean, Andromedan is just a collection of hyper accelerated gas particles, so you can kind of put them anywhere. The more condensed they are, the more coherent they are to us. The more spread out they are, the slower their functions work. But that's just gas-based life forms, from what I understand.
Yeah, MB, did we ever tell you about how we met this huge, gigantic, writhing ball of memory?
You did mention the tentacle thing, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if they're in any way related.
I could not tell you that. I have not seen either of those technologies. I met an Andromedan once, and that was almost 400 years ago, before we even left the Earth. So,
right.
Do they eat?
Not the way that you and I would.
Can we talk about Andromedan excretions afterwards?
I wasn't going to get into that. I was getting into the first half.
Well, it's not really my area. Not a xenobiologist. I'm a mechanic. It's I build stuff.
Wait, wasn't 2 Chains something to do with biology?
Just Chains.
I don't know anyone named 2 Chains. Do you mean Chain Solomon?
Sorry, Velvet started calling in that.
Chains plural.
So do you want to talk to the Sun people about this opportunity, or do you want to do this on your own? What's your plan?
I guess we should talk to the Sun people.
Let's talk to the Surface Liberation Front, I guess. Coriander Spear Point.
You don't have to talk to them. You can just go and do this job. They're just intermediaries here.
Well, I think we're okay with maybe 1 or 2 of the Surface Liberation Front, just by the fact that they woke us up and that the other one's name is Chains.
We just want to see Wizard Chains.
You just want this one character.
Yeah, we could go with the stipulation that it's just Chains Solomon.
Okay, so are you going to get in touch with Chains?
Yeah, go ahead and call Spear Point or Chains.
Well, I can call Spear Point or I can call Chains. It's up to you. I can't call them both at the same time. They're not in a meeting or anything. They don't cohabitate. They're a secret organization.
Oh, I had figured they lived in that cave.
They do not live in that cave, no. That cave probably just doesn't even exist anymore at this point.
Huh.
Oh. Yeah, Zora, they woke us up in a cave, and you weren't there. And there was a wizard robot named Chains.
I don't know if he was a wizard. He looked like a wizard, though.
Yeah. And he gave me my cool armored poncho.
I am understanding very little of this.
Yeah, it might be better if you just met him. MP, would you mind calling Chain Solomon, please? Sorry.
Yeah, all right. I'll call Chain Solomon. Do, 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 do. You get a voice-only communication that comes through the speaker. Yes?
Hi, it's the kids from the crate.
Ah, wonderful to hear from you.
That's a fun way of describing us.
Oh,
We want you to meet Zora because she's confused.
Ah, you've recovered the sword.
I think the sword really recovered herself.
Either way, you are reunited at last.
Do you want to attack Mount Olympus?
I would love to.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so you heard that message? Because
Yes, I am the one who sent it on to you.
oh, good. Yeah, we decided that you're our favorite, and that we want you to join us.
I have always had a way with young folk.
Nah.
Now, I suppose you wish to have further backup than simply my own humble self.
Is there a bruiser that you have in your employ? I assumed that a man named Chains would be deadly.
Well, chains can be many things, but you have already met my associate Clay.
Oh, yeah.
I can see if Clay is available.
I'm fine with that. Any objections?
Nope, no problem. But the probable cause people will probably want to help out too, or at least some of them.
Yes, and you are concerned about their trustworthiness, or are you more concerned about sharing the payout with them?
Oh, we don't want the money.
Yeah, neither of those things. I just think CD's creepy.
Ah, yes, well, given CD's job, it is understandable that perhaps they are less capable of interacting with the living than most other people.
Hey, did someone say? Sorry. I'm just wondering though. We're slipping CD around all this.
I assume they're outside or in the probable cause.
Oh, I just imagined the CD heard their name and was like, "Hi, I heard my name mentioned."
Is that CD? Oh dear.
Jackal ears twitch.
Do you want me to meet you there, or shall we meet elsewhere?
Let's meet someplace clandestine and pool our resources before we attack it.
Very well.
Who are you guys talking to?
We'll catch you up, CD, just a second.
Okay, well, I'm going through a tunnel, so goodbye.
Oh, it's been wonderful to hear from you. Oh,
Oh, the connection's gone. Goodbye.
switch it off.
Farewell.
Press the button several times.
I get a feeling that someone doesn't like CD.
Why would you think that?
Arb,
Yes.
Arb.
What?
Are you
What's
telling
up?
me? Are you telling me? Are we establishing lore here?
The deep lore.
You may take what you wish from these interactions.
Yikes. That's unfortunate. They'll never be together.
MP ejects a little thing that looks like a what should this look like? I guess it just looks like a little cassette, like a micro cassette, like you would have in those old voice recorders, and hands it over to you and says, "This should contain the coordinates for your rendezvous with Chains and Clay."
Cool.
All right, so let's prepare this mission. Who do you want to bring with you?
For the assault part of the diplomacy part.
How are you doing this? You've been asked to investigate Olympian interior designs and see if they have any missing Andromedans or know anything about missing Andromedans.
All right, so if we're just investigating, I might bring Augustus in instead of Maeve.
All right. Unfortunately, Zora, you only have Zora as your character at the moment. So you got Zora. How are we going to do it? I get probably Slip needs a break, I think.
I'm fine.
And is this going to be Keva or CD?
Oh, part of me wants to have CD meet with Chains now. But obviously, like, if CD, like, if Chains knew who CD was, does that mean that they have dated in the past? Or that CD has just been...
I don't necessarily think that they have to have dated. I think the Chains might have been watching the news.
Or that...
Oh, gosh.
But
You do remember how many different things CD has been accused credibly of in the news recently, right?
Matt, I'm going to spend 2 stress to make it so that CD and Shane's had dated.
I'm sorry. It's just this ridiculous idea that I.
Is that a 4 stress flashback?
I guess play to find out for that one.
I guess then I have to be CD.
That depends if you think this is a CD job, then bring CD. If you think it's a Keva job, then bring Keva.
I don't know what the job is exactly at this point either.
Well, how do you think that's what we have to figure out when we're planning a mission? We need to figure out the best way to do the mission, right? That's how the game works.
Yes. So. Because, no, the thing is that if I want a stronger character that has the capacity to roll better, I can bring Keva, or I can bring a horrible mess doctor that can't do anything but doctor.
But the thing is, we might need a doctor if the Andromedans have been spread out.
Yes.
Let's figure out what kind of mission we want to do then, and then we'll settle on which characters are bringing.
Infiltration.
An infiltration. So you want to go into their HQ. All right. So let me just take a moment. Planning an engagement. Infiltration. Trespass unseen. The detail you need to provide is the point of infiltration. So you want to sneak in there.
I think so.
Okay. So that means that we need to determine what is the point of infiltration for Olympian interior design. So if you want to do some gathering of information for that, you can do that.
Prison break. Prison break. Prison break.
Emran has one of the drones, one of the blade drones that Keva took over, but it's the one that I broke.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Can Emran, working with someone else, turn it into a surveillance drone?
Sure. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, and it even says on the mechanic sheet that one of your load can be a small drone. So,
yeah, it makes sense to me. So, do you want to prepare the drone and send it out, to do a recon as part of your gather information here?
That is my first thought.
Okay.
Unfiltered.
What kind of action would you call that?
It might even be a clock, but maybe obviously don't have the space for it, but it sounds like a rig, and then maybe a study or skulk.
Let's I think the important part is turning it into a surveillance drone, because these drones are around. They're cop drones. They float around working for whoever pays for them.
Yeah.
In fact, as you're working on it, you can see that these are manufactured by... Okay, so I think, the rig is the important part. And as you are taking it apart and repairing it with the help of someone from... MP can help you with this. MP's a mechanic, obviously.
I was going to say MP, yeah.
Yeah. You find that this particular model is designed by Thetacom. It's their signature thing. It's the thing that they loan out the most. It's the most common model that Thetacom makes, is this bladed drone. So you're able to start working on that, and let's just be control standard rig on this, because we're just doing, it's basically a fortune roll.
A5, starting off.
Okay. So 5 means regular level of information from that. So you're able to hack the drone into a camera drone, and it flies out. You direct it to Olympian interior design. It's flying out through the city. The city is beginning to lock down into martial law at this time. There are fewer people out on the streets than you used to be seeing. Different types of vehicles trundling along, mostly self-driving. Deliveries and such are still going. Actually, we're pretty familiar at this point in real life with what a lockdown looks like. It's look outside, but not quite to that degree. There's still more people than we are seeing in our streets, but less than you're used to in a crowded place like the Sun. So, so you are used to seeing 20 bodies filling an intersection. Right now, there's only 5. So it's that severe of a level of difference. But it's flying around. You get to Olympian interior design. It's a tower building. All of the buildings that are outside of the sim are identical. It's just a block. Every building is just a block here on the Sun, because you got the sim, right? And before that, it was a military structure. So why would you need anything fancy? But so Olympian interior design, it looks exactly like the last place that you broke into, the Watang Media. It's just a cube with no windows. That's it. It's a cube. It has the same layout, which allows you to use your old blueprints that you had from Watang, because even though those blueprints kind of sucked, supplemented with the information from this drone, you're able to draw up some better ones. And that gives you some options for how you can get in. And again, you can find there's the option of going in through the sewers like you did last time. There's also the option of going in through the top, the ventilation system, which in this case appears to actually be less well guarded than the sewers because, surprise, surprise, ever since groups of people started breaking into buildings from the sewers are being patrolled more.
Why?
Couldn't say.
Competent policing?
Yes, the world lives and breathes. Well, doesn't breathe here. Lives.
Only the rich breathe.
Only the rich get to breathe. You kidding me? Breathing? I could never.
In this sun economy?
Oxygen in this economy?
Some of
Breathing
us
in and out?
Some of us already have a hard time breathing at this point.
Oh dear.
Yikes.
Too real. So yeah, that's a possible entrance point that you've got there. Infiltration point is through the ventilation system,
Coolio.
which isn't really being used for anything. Actually, it would be because there's life support in this area. So there you go.
It's in the inner ring or in the core?
Yeah. Inner.
Oh, okay, got it.
Olympian is important, but they're not that important. They're only
Right.
tier 3 after all.
Oh, that's fine.
All right. Anyone else have anything they want to do for research before we launch planning?
I think I'm gonna have CD do something, at least. Even if I use Keva, am I allowed to use a CD for an action?
Yeah.
Awesome, because I want to have CD try to figure out what the heck Olympian would be doing with Andromedans.
Okay. So how are you going about this?
CD is wait a second. CD isn't going to do any actual hacking, but you know how there are certain websites where you can get what other people have collected from places and go through all the raw material that they've collected from it.
Content aggregator?
Yeah, and they're gonna go through it and try to figure out how the heck does this company run? What would they be doing with Andromedans? Are there any workers there that have some sort of fishy info about them that weren't there from the beginning, that maybe came later, or
Okay.
No,
I get it. So you're doing basically like a deep dive into news and information about Olympian.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you going to use this sounds like it would be study basically to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So roll a study. Just a controlled standard.
I hear kitty, and it's not my kitty.
My cat.
I love your cat.
All right. So you got a 4 there.
Yeah.
Again, the standard level of information. You are able to find. I'll pause for Kat.
Excellent. Hello, Kat. I love you. Thank you for being here, Kat. I'm glad you could come today.
Yes, I love it when we have feline cast crew members.
You should be extra excited for season 3 then.
You got to stop with that, Matt, because no one knows what it means but you.
I know,
Yeah,
it's great.
No,
That tells me that Kajira confirmed.
if you're telling me that I can play a cat character,
You'll be a real space cat.
I know.
Well, we did talk about gene hacking being hereditary.
All I'm
You're
saying
one of the
is-
cat people from Doctor Who.
Centaurans are actually cat people, and they're barbaric. Techno Vikings that fly through space.
Oh, I would be there for that.
Well, we already know the Centaurans are fish people. We established that already. They're cybernetically uplifted fish people. And their spaceships are big mollusks. But this is, I'm
So
cutting
good.
this out anyway because this is
Space
spoilers.
squids.
Spoilers. Space squids. Essentially, giant space squids.
Yeah.
That's not saying anything further on that. Okay. So, your study, you got a 4 there. Okay. You go and you check your BuzzFeed and your Vice News, that kind of stuff. Not a whole lot about Olympian interior design, but once you break into like the archive, the Internet archives here, where things are kept and not as thoroughly scrubbed, you can find things that have been kept that had been purged from the official records. And you can find a bunch of information there dating back, centuries. And occasionally Olympian interior design does pop up in the news as, one thing or another. The earliest entry about Olympian interior design is just like a profile of Jennifer Trefire, their CEO. We know her, good old Jen. And back when she was still in her initial human body. And there's it's just like it's a fluff piece, but it's still been scrubbed from the official records for some reason. And later from that, you hear something about how Olympian interior design has suddenly rocketed to the top of the corporate ranks, has become a big player. It used to just be this startup when they did the profile. But, about a decade after that, about a decade into the occupation, all of a sudden Olympian interior design becomes a big deal. And part of that has to do with the fact that, according to this article, they won part of the contract to run the energy grid.
For the sun.
For the sun.
Okay.
So at least, about 350-ish years ago, at least back then, Olympian interior design was in charge of all the energy in the sun. Whether or not that's still true, can't find that info.
Something fishy.
Something certainly stinks.
And this time, it's not slip.
Anything else y'all want to do in preparation for this?
I wish I could smell even stinky slip.
That means a lot to me, thank you. I've been waiting for someone to tell me something so romantic.
I mean, I guess I could try to find out if they, have experience with Andromedans. Could I try to set up a meeting with a specialist designer?
You could probably try and get in touch with somebody in the company, yeah. Like as a cover, maybe you're looking into having them handle the casino, interior designs for your casino or something. You could set up a meeting that way and try to suss something out.
I would like to do that.
Art Deco. Art Deco. Art Deco.
I am a fan of Art Deco. Let's see here. Who is this? Do I have names for this faction?
Art Nouveau is technically where it's at, but that wouldn't make a good casino.
Hear me out. Brutalist casino.
Like a Thunderdome?
Soviet casino. No, not like post-apocalyptic raider casino. Brutalist as in the actual architectural style.
Oh.
It is ugly.
¿Por qué no los dos?
It's a casino that looks like it used to be a Soviet bloc headquarters, but is now a Raiders casino in the post-apocalypse.
Trudy, do you want to add architecture design? Or an interior design?
All right. The person you get in touch with.
Bad answers.
So Augustus, the person who replies to your query about this is Arthur McCourtney. Arthur McCourtney is a senior design associate at Olympian Interior Design. Pronouns are he and him. He has been with the company since close to the start, at least since that sudden surge in popularity when the company grew so much.
Perfect.
All right. Where do you meet with Art?
Somewhere flashy but seedy. Something that's like, hey, this is legit, but I'm also going to ask you something under the counter.
May I recommend a CD bar where they screen Robot Death Punch?
The problem is that CD could be either the character CD or CD, like SEED, or...
Okay, so you meet at an establishment called the CD Bar, but the
My
Bar
lord.
is the CD is the letters C and D. You go in. The floor is tiled with old CDs,
Ugh.
and so are the walls. Everything's very reflective. Headache Central. They've got disco balls made out of old recycled CDs. Everything is plastered like that. Up on the walls, the decor is old album covers and stuff like that. The place is less than packed. It is maybe half full.
Is it because of bad press with the name connection?
That can't have helped. It's
Oh,
also because of
yikes.
the martial law. Yeah, you're there in a booth with Arthur McCourtney.
Artie, can I call you Artie? I'm gonna call you Artie. So let's get down to business. Was this whole allied fleet coming in? Some of our more exotic guests are looking to have a bit of a gas. And they've pinpointed my blossoming casino as a possible tourist attraction. See how some of the more disparate classes of the station live. The problem is, I haven't dealt with one of them in a couple of centuries.
I see.
And I was wondering, well, not wondering, I'm sure Olympian knows how to better accommodate these one-of-a-kind guests.
So you're expecting Andromedans with this fleet. Very well. Let me see what I've got. He opens up a briefcase, and the briefcase is also a computer.
Of course.
Yeah. He's wearing just a pinstripe suit, and it's got power shoulders.
It's double-breasted.
Incongruously. Yep. Double-breasted. It's not a zoot suit, but it is a pinstripe suit, double-breasted with power shoulders. His hair is slicked back.
Does he have like the binary tie from Back to the Future Part 2 that kind of becomes a vest?
No, that's too horrible.
I'm appalled.
I have to drop that in just.
But he does have a piano tie.
Oh.
The piano key necktie, of course.
Piano key necktie. He's got, fairly pale skin. His hair is salt and pepper. He has just the right amount of stubble. This is all of his avatar in the sim, of course. He's fashionable, you can tell. So he's seated. He flips open his briefcase. He puts it on top of the table in the booth. The table is, of course, stylized as a giant CD. Let's see. What CD is it? Oh, I know.
It's Yo-Yo Ma Gets Back to Business 2040.
No, it's a true classic. It is the CD cover of 1992 seminal hit America's Least Wanted by Ugly Kid Joe. The business transaction is taking place on top of this frankly garish design, this cartoon Statue of Liberty with boogers on its finger. I don't know. Are any of you old enough to know Ugly Kid Joe? Probably not.
Nope.
I wasn't born here.
I am baby.
No.
Well, I was a small child when Ugly Kid Joe was popular, but I will never forget seeing this CD cover because my brother had it. Anyway, it's very ugly. Let me just get it for you.
Oh dear. It's got the boogers.
Just pop it into the hub chat there. There you go.
Oh, that's nasty.
Yep. So that's the tabletop of this CD-shaped table.
Oh, okay. Why?
Wild.
I don't even remember their music. I just remember that cover. And it's here now. Full circle.
Huge endorsement from Art.
His fingers fly over the virtual keyboard of his suitcase computer, and a holo projector starts projecting a variety of different internal spaces. And he says, I took the liberty of doing some research on the space that you've acquired for your casino, and I've begun mocking up some ideas for what might be comfortable for these unique guests of yours. And you can see a variety of different aesthetics that, probably don't look like much to us. But he says, these are, of course, things that you and I can't necessarily perceive with our limited visual capabilities. But the Andromedans will find this much more stimulating, I assure you.
Well, I certainly don't see the appeal, but I acquiesce to your judgment, Artie. Well done.
Yes, of course. So is there anything else that you would like to ask me about these package deals, of course, I have set up a variety of different options for payment and installation plans.
It'll just be 50,000 bells.
Oh, distant relative of Samnuk. Now, I did want to ask you, I'm not sure how far back Olympian is familiar with the Andromedan culture, but would you say these are more based on antiquated, sort of nostalgic feelings, or are these more modern?
Of course, we do our best to stay up to date on the latest trends for all of our clients. But as you know, the Andromedans have not been a society for over 300 years. Our information on them, of course, dates back to the last human contact with them before we came here. Do you want to do a roll on this?
Well, I'll say I always know when someone's lying to me.
Yeah, he's lying.
Is already lying. Oh,
It's
already.
definitely a lie.
Perfect. I think I know what I need to know.
Okay. Should we cut that scene there then?
I would like to shake his hand
Okay.
with my spooky gauntlet that has the happy box on it.
He smiles and the expression looks extremely out of place on his face.
Yikes. I don't like that. What a description.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's like if you took a face and, because this is in the sim as well, it's just the rest of the face still looks as severe and stern and businesslike, but then like the mouth just curls up.
It's like if you're stretching putty, so it looks like Augustus's creepy opera mask face.
Yeah,
Oh, perfect.
but person style. Okay. Is there anything else we want to know? Or should we get started?
Does Zora want to do anything?
Zora literally is just along for the ride because she has no idea what most of this is and figures she'll find out along the way. She
Heck
hopes.
yeah. The sword.
Not that any of it, all of this stuff is just hitting her right now, and she isn't even sure how to process any of it.
Yeah.
So the hope is that eventually this will become normal.
Hmm.
They'll be able to accept this.
Maybe she wants to prepare by like sharpening her sword, or
Things are constantly happening.
Hopefully we will not need to sharpen our swords, because aren't we sneaking in?
Well,
We should still have our swords sharpened, though.
this is Scum and Villainy. I think I will cause
Yeah.
problems on accident.
yeah, we probably end up killing people or beating people. You know.
You might solve a problem on accident. Come on. That's also possible.
When
This
have,
system.
not once since we've been playing for, I think, 2 years, have we solved a problem on accident.
Well, you know. Yeah, I just imagine there's this whirlwind of activity and preparations going on everywhere around, and then just zoom in on a quiet corner, and there's Zora with a whetstone just quietly. This is fine.
This is all I know. This is what I understand.
Could she please be drinking tea as she does this?
Sure. She will be actually sharpening her sword. The sword is something she understands right now.
Mm-hmm. I never asked, how old do you think Zora is?
I don't know, like maybe 27?
Oh.
Yeah, I kind of figured late 20s, early 30s for Zora.
Yeah.
Because she's like top of her game, one of the most decorated soldiers in the domain and all that. So
Have the Splinter Kids
I have a sword too.
Well, if Emran had decided to be a sellout, he might have been one of the most decorated as well.
well, it's, you know, that was the expected route that people took in their lives. That's just how society worked.
Yeah,
It just
now
so
he-
happened that the four of you witnessed something wild.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So the
Poor
real
Dig.
question, the real other question in my thing is like, are we 20 yet?
No, you're still 19.
So
We are
much
two
is
babes.
We're still on a scale of months from last season, despite the fact that it takes so long to produce this stuff.
No, I just meant like
It might feel like years.
it's just possible though that we like, even though it has been a year since our town got destroyed, I just thought that maybe our birthday, our shared collective society birthday had happened.
Maybe it will soon.
We're gonna conquer the sun and then turn 20. What have you done?
I might put down slaying 2 vice presidents on my resume. There's no reason for me not to.
Senior
Mm.
vice presidents.
Senior vice.